Disclaimer. Anything or anyone we speak about is strictly from our personal opinions and experiences. Nothing is to be taken as fact unless stated otherwise. We come from a place of love and respect, and our words are not meant to be malicious. Please do not send hate towards any individual we bring up. Continue at your own risk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bitter Old Bitch Brigade podcast. I'm here with my homegirls, Miss Trashmuffin, and the biggest and the beautifulest, Giraffez, Doris Buckel. And just a disclaimer before we start this episode: anything and anybody that we talk about in the podcast is strictly our opinion. Nothing is true fact unless stated otherwise. All right. And I believe the topic for today is our drag scene and club life as far as performing and everything that comes with that, along with the coronavirus that is affecting lives everywhere in the nightlife, including bartenders, service people, and mainly drag queens. So, how are we feeling? Who wants to start?
I'll start. Um, so, about my drag scene and performance. Um, I'm echoing. So, I personally do not perform. Um, I am strictly quote unquote a bedroom queen. That is somewhat by choice, but also somewhat about um, my scene. Because my scene, so I live in Melbourne, Florida, which is not a small town, but a town that's kind of small. It's also very Republican, and it's mostly made up of like rich white people. There is one club in my town, and they're called the Twisted Rooster. Fantastic club, but it is very, very restrictive as to who performs. And most of the time, the people who perform are your typical like pageant queens, beauty queens, that kind of stuff. There is not really an alternative drag scene in my town, as far as I know. Um, Again, I don't really kind of go out and look for a scene just because I don't necessarily perform. And the reason for that is just I don't necessarily want to perform at this time. I'm completely and totally comfortable with just doing online competitions. I know that there is positives in performing, but for me, for right now, that's just not something that is interesting to me, or something that I really want to do at this time. I do live about an hour from Orlando. Orlando has a great alternative scene. That's where the Blacks are from, if you've watched Dragula. So Victoria Elizabeth Black is from there, and then Dahlia Black is from there. There are a couple of other people from Dragula that are from there as well. And we also do have like campy queens from Orlando, Florida as well. Ginger Minge is from Orlando, Florida, and Tora Hyman, who is from Camp Wanakiki. She's actually the season 2 Camp Wanakiki winner. Is from Orlando, Florida as well, and is actually Ginger's drag daughter. So there is a scene in Orlando, and it is only an hour away. But again, at this level and at this time, performance is not really for me. Problems? Do you want to talk about your scene?
Um, the Atlanta drag scene is very diverse. You can go to one club and see drop kick, shimmy, shimmy, donkey kick. What did I say? Oh no, that didn't sound right. I meant, wait, did I? I don't know. Like, you can see the dancing queens, you can see the pageant queens, you can see camp. Uh, yeah, you can see camp. You can see alternative spooky, gender bending. You can see everything. You just have to know where to go. And following that, it's just kind of there's a place for everybody. Me personally, I do, at this moment, I do a little bit of comedy. I try to be, I do a little bit of pretty, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of dancing, a little 1-2 step. Um, yeah, like we have some of the most notable names from Drag Race and Dragula as well. We had Nicole Page Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia, Sonique. See, ooh, I'm sorry. We have the season 7 Drag Race winner, Violet Chachki. We have the season 2 Dragula winner, Bitch Pudding, along with Abora. And we also had St. Lucia and Aiden Zane. Um, we've had notable names. A lot goes on in Atlanta. At one time, it was only performing in Atlanta, and then it followed to performing in Atlanta as well as competing online. And then it went into back to only performing, and now I'm back to doing both. Um, yeah.
So I'm guessing that's moving on to me. So I'm kind of like in the weird in between of both trash and problems. So for those of you listening, I'm eating popcorn in between. It's like stuck all up in my teeth. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm like in between because like I'm trying to transition a little bit out of solely doing online stuff and then transitioning into actually going out and performing. I've only had like 3 actual performances so far. 2 of them were in Indy. One of them was in Muncie, and they are somewhat because I'm still somewhat new, and I didn't find out there was actually actual dragon clubs and everything in Indiana until like you know 2017. I want to say, so I'm not that familiar with everybody and what the actual like layout of them would be. From what I know, I'm not saying I'm an expert or anything like that. This is just from what I've observed. The indie scene is more alternative pageant, and then the Muncie scene from what I've seen is more like the comedy and still a little pageanty. Um, like they're not afraid to pull a joke or go for the funny or looking stupid, but at the same time, it's very much well polished. Is the best way I can say it. And then in indie, it's again well polished, but it's more of the alternative scene. Some of the notable names: Mary Fagdalin in indie, Mary Fagdalin, Sweezy Nix, 2 of the more prominent Lady Dumpster. Again, this is all off the top of my head of these names. And then in Muncie and the central Indiana area, we have more of like the Glenda B. Fierce and the Fierce family line. As well as in Muncie, we have the Mark III Tap Room, which is the oldest gay bar in Indiana, with the main showrunner being Sasha Colby. No, not Sasha Colby, Sasha Michaels. Yeah. Sorry about that, Miss Michaels. Um, I don't know why I spell when I say Colby when I say Sasha. It's just a weird thing. But we do have them, which is again still all the same family. Sasha is Glenda's mom, but that and then I recently, of course, still do the online and the in club stuff. Oh, sorry, my cat just decided to me. Sorry. I hate when he does that. Anyway, yeah, that's all I really got for, as far as the performing. It's, and then for me, of course, I'm definitely more of a campier person, so I try to go for more for the joke. For me, looking polished and everything is not my main priority. I don't care if I look stupid. Like, I will go for the stupid. I'm also that bitch who will throw her weight around stage for the joke. I have the most recent time I performed, I actually hurt myself because during my last number, I thought it was a good idea to slide my happy fat ass downstairs. And again, these bitches are laughing. You cannot hear it, but I've known them long enough. Their laugh is in my head. And here's the thing about that. They were like maybe a inch to 2 inches long or big. So I didn't think they would hurt me that much because I have a pretty bad ass. I do not pad. But I saw another queen do it and she looked okay. I forgot there were booze involved for everybody who performed. Let's face it. When you're a drag queen, you get at least one drink. You'll have to drink at least one drink. So she, booze were involved. She also had padding about 5 inches thick. She wasn't doing it on bare ass. So here I am, bare ass, sliding down a couple of stairs while I'm doing the slow, meaningful song. And then the next day, I can barely move because my ass hurts. But yeah, and it looks like I need to keep on talking. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me and my scene. I guess I'll be willing to start the conversation a bit about the coronavirus, if that's okay with everybody. Okay. Okay. So basically, with this coronavirus, it's really committing a lot of people, especially in the drag community, because the bars are closing. And for many queens, that's either their only main or supplementary income to where they're able to live the life they do. So for some of these queens, it's very much a do or die. I'm lucky enough in my state, they started to put a hold on rent because of this, because people are not able to work. Because if you're not able to work, you're not able to pay for anything, sadly. So they put a little bit of a hold on rent in my state. I want to say they also did that in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I mean.
They are about to do it in Georgia as well.
Yeah, and they're about to do it in Georgia, apparently. That's how bad it is. Like, we are starting to have to put rent on hold for people. But basically, it's really screwing over a lot of queens because they're not even sure if they'll be able to bounce back from this. That's how bad. Because not only will they have to then, start paying rent again, they also have to buy their groceries and their food in the meantime, which alone will become a hot commodity. Because as you know now, when at the time of this, it's in mid-coronavirus, and apparently everybody thinks having a clean ass will save them from the coronavirus and buying out stocks of toilet paper.
I have never felt so passionate about something. What the fuck does the coronavirus have to do with toilet paper? I have an autoimmune disease. I have ulcerative colitis. I'm in the bathroom more during the day than most people. My frequency is supposed to be 24. Thank God I've knocked it down to like under 10. I'm still in the bathroom more. So I use I'm a frequent buyer. So I'm sitting here in the public fucking aisle. There's no goddamn toilet paper. And I'm just sitting here like, okay. Okay. I turn around to the wet wipes. There's 4 packs. Mind you, these are like feet tall fucking aisles. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, just, people our age are going to be watching Charmin commercials in 40 years and see the war. It just...
The Charmin War.
Grandpa, did you do any wars? Yes, long ago. We were stocking up on toilet paper. They were raising the prices on food. We had to start frying cardboard. We couldn't leave the house. The president ordered a 2-week quarantine. They said social distancing was best. And then it happened.
I also think it's important to note that this is being recorded mid-March, and I don't know when the episode is going to be coming out, but it might be a month from now, which means that the coronavirus might not be as effective or as in effect as it is currently. Or it could be worse. We don't know yet. So the future is kind of up in the air for when this episode actually comes out. But I think it's also important to mention that I like I said, I don't perform. I think the clubs in my area are still open. Um, and I think most things are still open in my area. But I will say that the coronavirus personally, um, I don't know if I have a job anymore because I work at a college and our college campus closed for the next like 3 weeks, and moved everything online. So not only is it affecting the drag scene because the clubs are closing, but it's also affecting everybody financially because we're not able to actually do our jobs. Um, so that's a big thing too, because being in the community and the online drag community, it does cost money to do these looks. And it also takes resources. So I know for me, every look that I do, I usually have to go out and buy things. I can't do that anymore. And it's also affecting the online community in that way, is that a lot of these individuals can't do the online stuff that they have to because they have to go buy things and all the stores are closed and their jobs are on the line, especially for the older queens like me, Drafts, and Alotta, who actually have jobs. So I know that there are a lot of younger queens in the community who don't have jobs, but it's still affecting everybody because we're not able to get the resources that we need. And even to perform, we're not able to get the resources we need to perform. So it's a mess right now. And it's something that the community is talking about on a high level because it is such a mess.
Yeah, and not only that, a little bit of a correction for Trash. I'm actually right now unemployed, and I don't know when the next time I'll even be able to get an interview because of this virus. So I could very easily be without a job until this thing is over, which is not a good thing for me because I need to start saving up money again so that way I can, because I had to move back home. Yeah, long story short. I had to move back home, and you need money to do it. Let's just face it, that's a fact. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to get any interviews anytime soon because they're all like, "Oh, it's the coronavirus. Let's not get any more new people." You know, like there could be a hiring freeze, which will suck for everybody who's unemployed who's actually looking.
That's the situation I'm in. I do drag, but I'm not fortunate enough to be able to do that all the time. Hopefully I will soon, but as of now, I work fast food. Um, I'm not gonna speak on my last job, but I left a company a few weeks ago, right before it, when people were still really joking about it, and then it got serious. And I was in the hiring process for another company, and I can't start there until this blows over. They're cutting hours, you know, they can't afford to hire anybody else. And I completely understand it's not their fault. But I'm also in a predicament where no, I don't make that much money off of drag. I do have that bit of income coming from that. All the clubs are shut down. There's everybody's trying to do their part in the social distancing, which I completely understand. I'm immunocompromised, so I'm highly susceptible of getting it. And while I understand, it's still frustrating. I had a breakdown earlier. There's things that we as people in America, we have obligations. Well, really around the world, everybody has to pay rent. Everybody has to pay bills. There's a cost of living, and with this going around, nobody can meet the cost of living. You know, there's schools that are shut down but are still like passing out certain necessary food to the families for the meals that they would have had because people are quarantined and they can't go out and buy the groceries. And when they can go out and buy the groceries, half the shit's gone.
Like literally, like I'm fortunate enough to where that's not really an issue. But I with my current living situation, but we meal plan, so we have everything already in the like monthly calendar meals plan. We did not get so much stuff because of this, and we live in like a somewhat small town. Like I'm not going to say Anderson is like a big town, but like it's not a big town, but it's also not like fully sticks. We have the sticks, but it's not the sticks. But there's like Like every week we get a 4-pack of chicken thighs for every Friday. We did not get those for the first time ever. So that to me says people are planning for the worst. And that just really sucks because if it's like we don't have an issue with that, with being able to get groceries. I can only imagine the people who have issues with getting groceries, how they're dealing with this. And it's not good.
Yeah, and I will also say like a lot of people joke about the coronavirus, and that's fine and dandy. Like, go ahead and joke about the actual virus. I think one of the biggest issues with the virus itself is the hysteria that's being caused. Like, I have never seen this much hysteria, and I live in a state that is constantly in fear of being hit by a hurricane.
It was not. It was not like this during the swine flu, and it wasn't even damn like this when the world was supposed to end in 2012. I'm talking about like I have never seen something as panic stricken as this.
Yeah. Excuse me.
And that is very true. Like, the only thing I can compare it to is, so obviously we in Florida we have hurricane seasons, and this past hurricane season, I think it was Hurricane Matthew, if I'm not incorrect, which was like the big Category 5 hurricane that was going to hit Florida, and the area that it was going to hit was my area. Like, it was coming straight for Brevard County, Space Coast. We didn't even see that hysteria then. I mean, there was hysteria, but not as bad. It is literally crazy. Like, we go to the store and everything is empty. Everything. Canned food gone. Toilet paper gone. Wipes gone. People are using dish soap for washing their hands now. It's crazy how much hysteria there is, and that is kind of the issue about this virus is the hysteria, because then you also have people who are trying to price gouge. I mean, there was an online article just recently where this guy bought like $1,700 worth of stuff that he was going to sell on eBay and Amazon and price gouge. He was selling the stuff for like $80 a piece. And that's just crazy. Luckily, eBay and Amazon have systems in place where they stop that. But it's crazy how much people will go to the store and buy out all this stuff because they think they can make a profit on it. And there's a big difference, because I come from a reseller family. There's a big difference between reselling, like buying stuff to resell, and buying stuff that people actually need and trying to resell it.
I'm getting on Facebook and I'm seeing people like talk about how there's families that can't even take care of their children. There's, posts about the struggle that everybody's going through because people are buying everything out of panic, or like Trash said, trying to resell it. And one of my roommates actually works at a grocery store, and people are trying to bargain like prices at the register. I don't know who they think they are, but it's there. This situation has made me see a lot of firsts. Like it's it's odd, truly, and like it just feels like it got so out of control with no prevention, no care was done. Because if you look back in January, a certain person was making an address to the national public saying he had it under control. Now, fast forward and you look at the global map, there's cases of this in every continent except Australia, I believe. Like,
Antarctica, not Australia. Australia is actually being hit very hard right now with everything.
Can we just real quickly pour one out for poor Australia? like fires, corona. What's next? A tsunami?
No, they were hit by floods too, girl.
Son of a fucking bitch.
It was literally within in a succession of like literally 3 months. They were on fire, then they were flooded, then the coronavirus hit.
All I'm saying is, if all this shit happened and them big ass spiders are still there, honestly, I have no words. I'm sorry. Like, have y'all heard what swooping season is? You tell me.
Anyway.
Like, save the koalas, but them bugs can go.
But anyway, we do say all this for me to now interject and say this. But if you are a fan of drag, see if your local queens have a Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, merch, anything you can do to try to help give them some money if you are able to. Don't put yourself in a hole trying to help others. That just only does not help anyone.
No, but $1. You know, like that's what most drag queens live off of. You know, there could be 100 people in a room. They could make $80 if they could make $100 if each one of those people gave them $1 bill.
Like how I like to just like when I first told my dad about when I had a gig, and he's like, "Well, how do you get paid for that?" I said, "Well, Dad, think of it this way. I'm basically a stripper that gets to keep their clothes on if they choose to."
Amen. Amen. And God forbid I'm not doing a sexy song, because I'll be just
right.
Like,
I will say one of those queens, I know I've seen a couple of queens do this, and that's the big thing is with queens, their job is dependent on getting to these clubs, and a lot of clubs are shutting down. And I know one bigger name is Vajayjay, who her club is being affected. I think it's Vajayjay. No, it's not Vajayjay. It is oh my gosh, Claire apparently. One of the two. From one of the queens from Camp Wanakiki's club is being completely shut down, which is it's a very big thing. A lot of clubs are being shut down, but she is now offering with donation videos of her performing. And so I think it's very big to support those queens that cannot get work, who are solely dependent on that work.
If like what it takes to be able to do what you love every day and make drag or make the art of what you do, make that your everyday. Once you get on it for so long, that's what you become dependent on. And it's like, there's people that's been in the club industry for 50 years that's all of a sudden, struck with this like money situation because all of a sudden this is going down. You know, I can't think of one performer that has a 401k. You know, most queens don't have retirement unless they set money aside specifically for, there's no, unless you just have a coronavirus fund, Ebola fund, whatever, like, there's not enough planning in the world that could prepare you for this. You know, it's it's hard. There's queens like I know Rhea Latre and a bunch of girls in Hollywood are doing online shows. I know Bitch Pudding is hosting one of the largest online drag shows on Twitch on her Twitch stream. It's a $10 minimum donation, and it's split equally between the girls. And it's everybody's doing what they can. And I think within the gay community, everything's being affected with this. Like, and I know this one girl that I work with, Raven Larath in Athens. I love her. We do Galaxy Ball every month. She brought up a very good point. Everybody was joking, or like the people who were joking about the coronavirus, people were acting like this towards like the AIDS pandemic. maybe that's not how she worded it. Now I feel stupid. Maybe that's not how she worded it. We gonna cut that. No. But
Well, no, I have also seen that meme going around that a lot of people are posting is like, there was a lot of straight people who weren't, acting the way they are right now when the whole AIDS pandemic happened, but now they are. And we're just sitting, and some of the older kids are just sitting there thinking, how does it feel, bitch?
it's just like, I don't know. It's hard. There's
Mm.
celebrities supposedly coming down with it, you know. At first it was just supposed to be the flu, now it's become this whole thing, and now
Well, no,
people
like Trash said, it is still just basically a very severe form of the flu. But here's the thing: the flu still kills people yearly. you know. So it's not the fact that it's just a bigger strain, a stronger strain of the flu. It's just that people are. It's just a global fear thing. Like it's just like Crash said, it's a mass hysteria thing where a lot of people are get very scared because things are going down in other places and it can affect other places. Like I know right now the entire country of Italy is shut down because of this. So, that's something that could ultimately affect other places. And there's some places that are no longer accepting the cruise ships that left their ports to come back to their ports.
Yeah, no, there's a travel ban in some areas. Um, it's just like it's beyond. I know in Georgia itself we have over 100 cases. At least one death. It's it's becoming more and more like, and it's funny because, all anybody ever wants to do is kind of lay around the house and do anything. But now that we have to, everybody's like, oh, this, because it's
Yeah.
so stressful. It's like everything is put on hold. Our lives, our jobs, like our money. Like I can't buy good nails until I get paid again. Like, and I say that with a light heart, not thinking of the serious stuff that I need, like
Yeah.
medications, all this, but like I can't think more hard on it than I already have. Like, I don't know, it's just a rough situation, and I feel bad for the people who are being affected because some of these people had never heard of this, they have no idea what's going on, and I hope for the best out of this situation. I don't want to see like a mass population decrease because of this. I'm not gonna say it's easy to find a something to treat it, but
Yeah.
there's definitely measures that can be done. And I hope that people are working hard to help everybody.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Trash, or?
Not really. I think we covered a lot of really good points in this video.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, then problems you want to end it for us?
Well, gals, this was a lovely episode. I felt like I rambled too much. And once again, I'm Alotta Problems. We are here with Trashmuffin and Giraffez Doris Buckel. We're here every podcast. And once again, disclaimer, anything that is said and anybody that is spoke of in these podcasts, strictly opinion. Nothing is stated fact unless stated otherwise. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.